In this week's Parsha, Parshas Va'eira, which also happens to be my Bar Mitzvah Parsha, I would like to get a little bit more personal. The Psukim delineate the descendants of Yaakov Avinu going from Ruvain to Shimon to Levi, and then the descendants of Levi until it gets to Moshe and Aaron. And the Pasuk says, Hu Aaron Hu Moshe, who Hashem commanded to take them out of Mitzrayim, and the Pasuk ends off, Hu Moshe Aaron. First it says Aaron before Moshe, and then it says Moshe before Aaron. And Rashi comments and says that this is to teach us that Moshe Rabbeinu and Aaron HaKohen are sometimes mentioned Moshe first, sometimes mentioned Aaron first, to teach us that they're both shkulin ke'echad, they're both equal in stature. Says Rav Moshe Feinstein, the obvious kasha, what does that mean that Moshe and Aaron were equal? The Pasuk says clearly straight out in Bamidbar that Hashem says Moshe Rabbeinu was the greatest Navi that ever lived. Pe'el pe'ar dabar boy, he's the greatest Anav in personality, in Nevi'us. Moshe Rabbeinu was the greatest human being that ever lived. How is it possible to say that Aaron HaKohen, his older brother, was equal to him? Says Rav Moshe an unbelievable yesod. He says that sometimes a person could be born with a certain amount of potential and never really live up to that potential. That person, his life is wasted. But a person who actualized his entire potential and fulfilled it completely, he is of the greatest of the great. Moshe Rabbeinu and Aaron HaKohen had different levels of potential, but they both completed their potential until the top. They fulfilled it completely. Therefore, they're both equal in the fact that they both completely actualized their potential to the max. This explains a Gemara in Bava Basra, says Rav Moshe, of a story of Rav Yosef, the son of Rabbi Yeshua, who got sick and he was about to die. His neshama went up to Shemayim, and eventually he actually became cured and he woke up. When he woke up, his father asked him, "What did you see in Shemayim? What did you visualize?" And Rabbi Yosef said, Oilam hafach re'isi, I saw an upside down world. The people that over here got so much covered and were so respected, up there in Shemayim were not really so high up. But the opposite, the people that here in this world were not so respected, up there they were given a lot of covet. And his father, Rav Yeshua, said, no, you saw right. That is the emes, that is the true world. Because upstairs in Shemayim they are measuring potential. A person who lived up to his potential, even if he had less capabilities to begin with, but he used it to his full capacity, and he took his koiches to the max, that person is sitting on the top dais, because he is the greatest of the great. But a person down here, even if he was well respected because he did so much in his life, he may have possibly been able to do so much more, and yet he didn't. That person, although he did so much in his life, because he didn't fulfill his potential, is not sitting amongst the greatest. Says Rav Moshe, Aaron HaKohen and Moshe Rabbeinu both used their potential to the max, and that's why they were considered equal. Me personally, I've noticed people had mentioned to me that it says on the title of the video, Reb Eli Hafstadter. And they said, who are you? You're not a Rav, you're not a Rosh Hashiva, you're not a Rebbe. What makes you a rabbi? So first of all, I said that the video editor put the Reb in front, but any married man could be Reb. But you're right, I'm not a Rav, I'm not a Rosh Hashiva, so what gives me the right to say a Dvar Torah? And the answer, I think, is very simple. I draw my koiches from the Gedolim that weren't rabbis either, and yet gave over Dvar Torahs and inspired Klal Yisrael. Zechariah Wallerstein Zatzal, Pesach Krohn, Charlie Harari, Harry Rothenberg, all the big names that give lectures and Daf Yomis. Eli Stefansky, the biggest Maggid Shir of the biggest Daf Yomi in the world. He doesn't have smicha, but yet he inspires and teaches Torah to so many people. We all went to yeshiva. We all know a good vart in the parsha. What's wrong if I could give over a good vart? There's nothing wrong with another yid giving over a vart to another yid to teach him Torah. You don't have to be a Rebbe, a Rav, or a Shiva. Anybody could do it. Any of you could take what God has given you, your koiches, and take your potential and move it to the max. Whether it's in Chesed, whether it's in Torah, whether it's in Tefillah, whatever you feel you could donate and give to the world from your personal arsenal of abilities and strengths, you do you, and take that with you, and inspire Klal Yisrael and do the best. Be the best you could be with the potential that God has given you. Have a beautiful Shabbos.